Hi everyone, Cliff here for yctestdrive. Thank you so much for those that are following. I have 5 tips that I need to tell you that you need to do when you are traveling in Namibia. You have to share this video because it will save more lives. So there are lots of different tips that you can do when you are traveling, but I'll just give you 5 tips that you need to do when you are traveling for long distance in Namibia. Tip number 1. Make sure you check your tires. What do we mean by checking tires? So you need to check your tire thread. So you can always buy yourself a tool like this one. So this is a tool that you use to check your tire thread. Our legal tire thread in Namibia is about 1.6. So make sure you have the right tire thread. The thread here is 8mm. Very important that you check the thread on your tires before you travel. Make sure you go to the service station. Balance your tires, both tires with air pressure. Make sure that all the tires have the similar air pressure. Check them, make sure that the wheels are balanced, make sure that the wheels are aligned. The car moves on tires. Anything that happens to the tires, if you have a flat tire, a pipe blow out, because you didn't check your tire thread, you can have an accident. Make sure that you check the tires. That's very important. That's why this is tip number 1. Tip number 2. Before we go to tip number 2, make sure that you have subscribed. Make sure that you click on the notification bell so that you are notified every time we do a video. Tip number 2, you make sure that you have checked your tools. What we mean by tools, we mean first aid kit. In case someone is injured, you can help them. Make sure you have this in your car. We mean the bib that you wear, the reflective bib. When you are stuck in the middle of nowhere, you can put on this reflective jacket so that people can see you from a distance. Make sure you have your jack. Make sure you have your fire extinguisher. Very important. In case you have trouble with your car, you have fire, the fire extinguisher is very important. Make sure you have a triangle that you will need. If you are stuck in the middle of the road, you can warn other cars. Make sure you even have a tow rope to pull someone in case. Don't just leave without checking the tire changing tools. You might just drive, all of a sudden you do not have a jack, you have a flat tire, all of a sudden you do not have a spanner to change your wheel. So make sure before you travel you check these tools. Tip number 3, make sure you check your oil and water before you leave. So what we mean, the oil, engine oil, and the water, we mean the water, the water for the wipers. It's the coolant, man. Yeah. Make sure that you check your coolant, the one that cools the engine. You might drive after 100 kilometers in the middle of nowhere, you are running out of coolant and you blow out the engine. This is for the wipers. Yeah. Okay, so all that is fine. You might find yourself driving in the night and you have a lot of insects on the screen and all of a sudden you do not have water for the wipers. So it's very important that you check your oil and water. Tip number 4 that you need to do before you travel in Namibia is make sure that you check your lights. Make sure that you check your indicators are working. Make sure you check that your brake lights are working, your reverse lights are working, your headlamps are working, your dim are working, your parking lights are working before you even leave. Don't just drive and then after 100 kilometers the sun sets, you only have one light. Or when you dim, all lights goes off. Or when you indicate, the other light doesn't work. Or when you brake, your brake lights are not working. It's very dangerous. These, unfortunately, are some of the reasons why we have high accidents on our Namibian roads. Don't just dim and then all of a sudden your car looks like a motorbike. You only have one light. One does not know which side is the car or which side is the light. That's very dangerous. It's very important that you check your lights before you leave, before you start driving in Namibia. The last and final tip, make sure that you have rested before you even start driving. Very, very important that you are fresh when you start driving, that you have rested, you did not sunrise, that you have enough energy to drive for a long distance so that you prevent accidents. Unfortunately, Namibia has the highest number of accidents. So in order to prevent that, make sure that you share this video with others to save lives in Namibia. Make sure you subscribe so that you see these tips every time they come out. That will help you really on our Namibian roads. So for those that are watching this video and did not subscribe, I do not understand why you cannot subscribe. So subscribe, share and comment so that you help the channel to grow, so that I tell you more tips that you need to know about cars and about traveling on our Namibian road.